Hi my lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and for everybody who is new, I'm Leorah and I'm so glad you found me. So welcome to this review video where I'm going to show you everything about the Sleepover collection from Unearthly Cosmetics, also known as Alien Cosmetics. As you know, they have rebranded and from now on it is Unearthly Cosmetics. Now I received an amazing PR package because for some reason I have made it for a couple months, I don't know already, I have made it on the PR list of Alien Cosmetics, Unearthly Cosmetics. I have no idea. Maybe some stars shifted and like something in the universe lined up, and this is when I like plop, I fell on this PR list, and I am so grateful because sweeties, this is one of my most favorite brands out there. Okay, now maybe you have seen the Sleepover collection already. Of course, I'm going to show you in detail everything throughout the video, but just wanted to quickly introduce the main items basically. So we have, of course, the Sleepover palette, which looks like this. Sweeties, you know, I kind of wish I looked like this. I look more like the pillows than the girls. Seriously, I look like a pillow, but I also gave birth to 7 children, so I guess I deserve to be a bit of a pillow, right? So yeah. Okay, sweetie, so this is the palette, and this is how it looks, and this was basically the Valentine's release. It came a little bit after, but this is basically the Valentine's release. So we have the palette, we do have a lippy, and I should also tell you that in all of the pictures, because you will see 3 more looks in pictures later on, I'm always wearing that lippy, I'm always wearing that palette, I'm always wearing one of the blushes, the same highlighter that I'm going to show you in just a second, and I'm also wearing one of these 4 eyeliners that I also received. These are gel eyeliners from Alien Cosmetics. These are not part of the Sleepover collection, but they're like in general on their website. Okay, so we do have a green one, an orange one, a red one, and then a purple one. Okay, so I'm using exclusively these items in all of these looks, just with the exception of the lashes, because I also received one of their falsies from Unearthly Cosmetics. This is the style Supernatural, and this is the only time that I'm wearing those lashes because I wanted to leave it for the review. You know, I don't know why, but this is what I did. Okay, so these are also, of course, Unearthly Cosmetics lashes. All right, is that what it is? Okay, I'm going to show you also the highlighter, which is this one, and then also 2 blushes. All right, so of course in detail I'm going to talk about everything then later on in the review part, but these are the 2 blushes. All right, so huge intro, but anyway, sweetie, if you've just found me, I'm Leorah. I'm a makeup artist and stylist living for colorful and very gentle and understated makeup, as you can see. Yeah, I'm living for colorful makeup and colorful styling, and if that is something that you're absolutely into, or you want to learn more about, or you just want to hang out because you just fell in love with my happy nature, then of course please check out my channel and subscribe, because I would love to have you here. Beyond that, of course, my social media will also be linked in the description box down below, so you can just get to know me a little bit better and see what I'm also doing when I'm not filming, because of course I'm doing makeup every day, but I'm not filming every single look, so it kind of makes sense that you follow me there. Okay, sweeties, I also want to talk to you about something today, because you know that me and my family are not going through the easiest time, and you know, we're speaking here a lot on my channel about how my brother in Ukraine is doing and all of these things, but I don't speak that much about how this is going for me, you know? Okay, so that is basically what I'm sharing with you today, so let's just hang out, dig right in, create this look, and of course, as always, later on you will see the swatches of the palette, you will see 3 more looks in pictures, and at the end of the video we are going to meet here again for the review part. So with all of that being said, let's go right into it. Okay, sweeties, here we are, and we're doing a look. I am wearing the eyeshadow primer from Jybel Cosmetics, I think. Jybel MUA Cosmetics. And I also want to point out before we go in, because this is the time to do it, that when I'm mentioning some staining later on in the review part, then this is the amount of staining. So it is very insignificant, just saying, okay? Just when you think about having a palette like this, with all these very intense shades, or like half of them are super intense shades, just so you know that this is about the amount of staining that you'll get. And this streak here is actually from the red eyeliner that we are also of course going to talk about. Okay, sweeties, that is basically our starting point. And now I want to go in super dark, because I have to go grocery shopping today and it's better going to be dark. Sweeties, seriously, when I'm filming this, we have not a lot of time anymore before the Passover celebrations are starting. And if you know anything about my religion, Judaism, Passover is very high maintenance, you know, so it's not a lot of fun to go grocery shopping. And in any case, nothing around Pesach for me is fun, because it's a lot of stress beforehand to get the house ready and everything changed, like the whole kitchen has to be kosher for Passover. And what that means, just Google. Just Google what religious observant Jews have to do in order to get a kitchen done for Passover. Okay, just in case I'm not saying Passover, because really we use the Hebrew term, which is Pesach, same thing. All right, so you're just learning also some vocabulary in Hebrew, so that's great. All right, so by the way, I'm going in with the shade Sleepover. So that is the darkest shade in the palette. It does have some micro glitter in it, but you know, usually I find that very, like, it doesn't matter, you know, it doesn't show up in the look or on the face. It is, I think, more for like decoration within the palette, so that is okay. In any case, this is a matte and this is super dark, as you can see. Alright, so I'm just building it up here, and then I kind of want to go sliver by sliver a little bit lighter and then kind of blend it all together. And I think my plan is to have a bit of like a super dark classic smoky eye in combination with a bit of a halo. That is, that's my life. Yeah, having a bit of a halo, but just a bit. Yeah. All right, sweeties, but what I really wanted to talk to you about today is actually how I have been feeling lately, because as you of course know, if you're not new here to my channel, then you know that life is not it has not been so easy with my brother being in Ukraine, and now we're already for like 4 weeks plus in this whole situation, and it is very stressful for our family as a big family. And forget about, of course, how my brother and his wife are feeling. That is a whole different ball game, of course. I'm gonna go in the shade Sweetheart. Okay, so that's a beautiful fuchsia shade, which is probably my most favorite shade in the palette because it's fuchsia and I love fuchsia. Okay, but how have I been doing? Because I'm kind of trying to keep it together, because a lot of people here, of course, in my normal day-to-day life depend on me. But of course, also this whole thing doesn't go by me without scarring or without having any effect on me. And while I do not believe that I'm very important in this situation, I am important for a lot of people, you know, and I kind of have to still be able to function. Now, with everything that is coming together, and it's not just Ukraine being in war and my brother being there, and of course his wife. I always mean, when I say my brother, I always also mean her, because it kind of sounds sometimes very, I don't know, unkind when I'm only mentioning my brother, but in my head they're just like one thing, you know? Which they are. So it's not only that, because of course normal life continues, you know, health scares continue, struggle in school with the children, you know, stuff like that. We're also in the process of signing up our 2 girls, Shalevet and Kinneret, for high school. That is not very easy either, because, you know, in my country it's kind of like you have to apply for a place in school, and it's like you're going to a job interview, and that is very unusual. I didn't know that something like this exists, that you have to be grateful if a school takes you. You know, in Germany when I grew up, it was like you go to school where you live and that's the end of it, you know, the next school, that is what you do. But of course that was a different time, because I'm a dinosaur. All right, I need another brush. Oh, I'm living for these tiny packing brushes. What is this called? This is from BH Cosmetics, the domed pencil. So cute, and especially for detailed work like this is so good. Okay, now we're gonna go in first of all, this was the first shade, this was the second shade, and now I want to go into this one, which is Flirty. So in any case, a lot of stuff is going on, you know, and I'm like, sometimes I feel like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What else? What else can we pile on? And yeah, so that is how I have been feeling. And of course, in any case, I have already very, very high anxiety as it is because of my eating disorder, which I'm also battling, and which is then also kind of spinning out of control every time something like unusual, dramatic, triggering happens. It is kind of very, very hard to deal with it. And then of course when you break and you do not control it, then you also have to deal with the guilt and with the failure and with all these feelings, you know. So it's not it's not so easy. So in any case, I'm also not expecting life to be easy. I don't think I deserve it and it should all come easy to me. I'm definitely a battleship, you know. I'm not against that at all. But sometimes I just wish I could get a breather a little bit once in a while. You know, there's also, of course, an issue with our rescue cat. Maybe you have been reading it between the lines, what I've been saying in other videos, that there is an issue with our Oreo, which is the channel cat, and you have not seen him in a long time. But he is still around, but he has shown some sudden signs of aggression also towards me. And that is, you know, I'm his mommy. How is this even possible? But, you know, there are also, of course, issues going on where we also have to make decisions what we're going to do. And that is also like ripping your heart out, you know, if you have to make a very drastic decision about an animal that you have raised with a syringe from age 10 days old, you know. So we're trying our best to figure out everything and to not give up on anything. But it's not, you know, it's not coming so easy. There's always a price to be paid. Okay, so now we're going to try to blend this out with this one, and that is the shade Beloved. Okay, so the other day I was cooking dinner. I was standing in the kitchen. I was stirring the pots, the food in the pots, of course. And the anxiety level was so bad. And I'm also like trying to get my work done. And I'm also having 2 first graders who need me to be there to do like homework or to check their homework or to, you know. And then just don't forget that I'm getting like 500, 600 messages every single day, you know. And that is... You feel like you want to take your head and your hands and throw everything into a different country, a country far away. You know, it is really, really intense. Now, not all of these messages are from social media, but a lot of them are. But also, of course, I am in 7 different WhatsApp groups from school, you know, and then another 7 that is just the teacher, you know. There is the parents group where just the parents chat, and then of course the one where the teacher gives announcements and who knows what, and all of that is in Hebrew, which is a foreign language for me. And it is sometimes I feel like, God, I cannot do it anymore. I just cannot, you know. So in any case, I'm done complaining. I'm really not complaining in that sense. I'm just trying to paint the picture for you so you understand a little bit of what has been happening. All right. So of course we're also following the news all the time, and I'm also trying to, of course, run my business and grow my business. And I'm also working with, you know, I'm working on a lot of stuff also behind the scenes that you don't know about. So that is a lot. So the other day, again, I was standing in the kitchen, I was cooking, and I was kind of... The anxiety was so bad that I felt like it is strangling me, and I cannot take it. I cannot take it anymore because I'm going to just crack, you know. It is too much. And then also in situations like this, to know that you have to be in the kitchen now, you have to cook. For someone with an eating disorder, sweeties, like raise your hand if you find that a very, very hard situation. Can I raise 2? You know, but as a mother, I mean, maybe in some families the father cooks, but we're very traditional, so I cook, you know. Not saying that I'm like extremely good at it. I just do what I do, and they'll just have to eat it because, you know, that's what it is. But I find it super, super hard and it takes so much energy out of me. And yeah, so I've been standing there and cooking, and I was not even able to cry. Not even able to cry anymore. I was just like going like this. I could not even like say a word anymore, you know? And in all of that, you know, my kids come and say, Mommy, can you do this? And Mommy, what do you think about that? And then Kineret comes and wants to do a dance for me. And I'm also trying to be a normal mother who is, you know, who is nice to her children and doesn't constantly snap at them and tell them to like go away, you know? Yeah, so I was in this situation where I felt like now I cannot even say, I cannot even pray because no words will come out, you know? And I feel like my personal safety spot is God, because I'm religious, okay? So not saying you have to be whatever, you know, you do your thing. But for me, that is the one thing where I say I can always turn to that, can always turn to God, you know, but what do you do if not even your voice can cry out anymore, you know? I was so high-strung and like overstrung that nothing came out anymore. And I was thinking about something that I read the other day, where whoever wrote that said about anxiety, and from a religious perspective, of course, that that he wants to be able to sing even in the shadows, you know, even when shadows surround you and you feel like you're completely cut off and you're alone and you're struggling so bad that it suffocates you and it strangles you, then that you can still raise your voice. And maybe in that case it's going to be a very small voice, but who cares, right? It's not going to be like you're an opera singer on stage. Maybe it's just a whisper, but you can raise your voice to whatever capacity you can, and you can sing even while you're in the shadows. Now, this person was using this as a metaphor to explain something, but I was like, okay, so let's try that. So I was actually just starting to hum a tune, because I couldn't sing, you know, but there is something that is also like physically happening within, I don't know, within this region, that maybe it's the vibrations of humming or something like this. Maybe you guys know, and then of course comment in the comments or let us know in the comments about this. There's something happening in the body when you're humming, that something gets released and something gets relaxed here. And I finally felt like I can take deeper breaths, you know? I don't feel like everything is being cut off anymore. And at some point I started to like very quietly sing something, you know? And that was so cool, because I felt like, yes, I'm singing in the darkness. I feel so much darkness around me. It's you know, in certain areas of my life, that that for me it felt like such a blessing to be able to it was like I was defeating the darkness. Was I really? Maybe in a tiny little way, just for myself. It didn't have any effect on anyone else in the world, but you know, I also do not have to have an effect on everybody else in the world all the time. I can also just be me once in a while, you know. And I felt like, whoa, I need to share this with my friends here, because maybe that can help you too, when you're so closed up that nothing else works anymore, that you cannot even ask for help. I could not even pick up the phone and ask my husband to come home to be there for me, because what is he going to say? What is he going to do? He's going to ask me to speak, and I cannot speak, you know? I can't. So yeah, so I was like, wow, this is so cool, you know. And maybe sometimes it really has to be the little things that move us forward and that move us out from like very, very bad situations, because also the little steps are, after all, a step, you know. And I got through that evening, and it helped me to just like finish off that day and to say, tomorrow is another day. And you know, one of my besties, actually my very first bestie, that I met here on this platform, she always used to say to me, you know, tomorrow is another day, without flaws, without faults. it's a whole new white sheet of paper that you can write on, and I was trying to think about that to just like get through the rest of the day, and that was just beautiful, you know. It was beautiful. Was it hard? Yes. It does not turn into a walk in the park then just because of that, but I managed to get through, and I managed to get through without having a binge or without like a meltdown or whatever. Now, I am very, very open with my kids about my feelings. They know about my eating disorder. They know that mom needs to be careful. They also see me cry a couple of times, you know, like I'm very, very open about this because I feel like being honest about being a human is very, very important. Okay, so let's just go into this shade right now. I told you this is going to be dark, so okay, so I'm just going to put that here on the left side and the right side, and then a different shade in the middle. Yeah, so you know, but still I don't want my kids to be more affected than they have to be, because it is already now like my kids already know that they have to ask if I'm eating with them or stuff like that, and already that is not normal, what I consider normal and what I consider healthy. Now, I cannot always help that, you know, sometimes I can just not eat with the family, but I was just so really, really proud also then of myself, and also grateful, you know, because it's not really a super big achievement of me that I started humming. Like, let's put it into perspective. But maybe, you know, if you're dealing with high anxiety, that that you can also be so blocked that you theoretically know all your tools that might help you, but you cannot access them in the situation when it is really, really bad. You know, you kind of need to sometimes hear it from the outside, but what if you do not have someone in that situation? So it is all very, very, like my mom would say, this is all very interconnected. Yeah, it is. All right, so let's put the other shade on. Where's my brush that I wanted? Small packing brush. There we go. Okay, so this shade I put, of course, to the right and to the left, and now I'm going to put this one, which is the shade Bouquet, in the middle. And I think with that we'll have the look. And then I'm also going to apply one of those eyeliners that I received, and that is going to be the purple one. Let me just show you. There's going to be the shade Jam, Purple Jam. So this is how it looks. This is the one that I'm going to put on. In the other looks that you're going to see in a second, I have used all of these eyeliners as well. In some of the cases, I have then put some glitter also on it, or at least like on half of it, because it's just kind of really, really cool to have some glitter on the liner as well. But maybe today I'm not going to do it, so you just see the effect of the liner better. All right, so just so you know, in the other pictures I'm also wearing all of those liners, because I did like one look with each one, you know. All right, so something like this is going to be the look. Of course, underneath the eye I also want this to be dark and intense, so we shall see, but you of course know. Yeah, so you're going to see, of course, this look a little bit perfected in the review part, but also of course all the other looks that I've done with this whole collection, and also of course the swatches of the palette, so stay tuned. Sweeties, here we are, of course, with the finished look and the finished styling, and I hope you did enjoy our chatty makeup time. And of course you see, because you know already from the intro that something has happened, I just felt really, really inspired to put on some glitter. And the thing is, because in all of the other looks I had put glitter also like in combination with the eyeliner, and I felt like I need, so that's why I did it. All right, so the glitter is just some random glitter from AliExpress, so never mind that, but I kind of really, really like it. It is so dramatic and kind of so fun at the same time. And that is just so me. I love it. I'm dramatic and fun, you know? All right, so let us just zoom you in so you can have a closer look. And of course, I'm also going to tell you then how I finished the look. Now, first of all, I do have a dark blue on my lower waterline, just so you know. And I should also, maybe now that you're all zoomed in, draw your attention to the eyeliner, because I had told you in the makeup application part that I'm going to do the purple liner, but I actually decided against it because I just changed my mind, you know. So I actually combined it with the red liner here in the inner part and then kind of blended it into the purple. Now you can totally blend those gel liners into each other. Just make sure that you blend the lighter one into the darker one and not the other way around. All right, so that is that. So let us move you back out, and then I'm going to tell you what I did. Just find the palette. All right, for the inner corner highlight, I used this shade here, and then under that blue that I have on the lower waterline, I actually put this one, which is more like, it is a brown or a reddish brown, you know. So this is what I have there, and then I blended it out with this one. It's kind of funny to blend out a dark shade with a dark shade, but it really works, because this one, it is a little bit lighter almost as it looks in the palette, you know. It is very soft, and it's very blendable, and it kind of diffuses stuff. So it was really easy to blend out with this one, you know. So that is all I did. This is all I did. And then of course also you saw the lashes, and these are of course, as I told you, the lashes in this style Supernatural. So let's just start with this one, because we're already talking about the lashes. So they are coming in a little component like this, and they are super bendy, which is nice, you know, the lash band, because that is a big problem for a lot of people who are very sensitive to feeling stuff on their eyes. Feeling stuff on their eyes, that sounds so bad, but you know, who feel like if there is a restriction because of the lash band being too stiff or something, you will have no problems with this one. At least this is what is with this style. I don't know how the other styles are, but I've heard amazing stuff from my other YouTuber friends about those lashes. So this is my experience. It was very easy to put on. I think I should have maybe cut down this side a tiny little bit more, because this eye is a tiny little bit smaller than this one. So sometimes I just have to like cut a little bit more off this side. But beyond that, maybe next time I'll do that. But it is really sweet and nice, and I really like the performance, and I mean, you see how it looks, you know. All right, so before we go into the palette and into the rest of the collection, the Sleepover collection, let's just quickly talk also about the gel eyeliners, because I'm so excited about gel eyeliners. Maybe you know, maybe you don't, but if you don't, then I'm telling you now that I am exclusively using gel eyeliners. And sweeties, there are not a lot of YouTubers who are like me in that regard, you know. I'm exclusively all the time using gel eyeliners, and every time I've gotten a felt tip liner for like eyelining for eyeliner, when I got that in PR, I'm like, what am I gonna do with this? I really have to like force myself to use it and to try it, because it's just not me. I love the opacity that gel eyeliners bring. Yes, it is a little bit harder to work with, but I just feel the quality after all, like the look after all, you know, at the end of the day is just so much more beautiful. Personal opinion, personal preference, of course, but just saying. Okay, so I tried all of these colors. So this is the purple one. Let me just show you all of the colors. So this is the red one. So basically I used these two today. And then we also do have a green one, which is a bit of a like a cool dark hunter green kind of a situation. And then we also have an orange, which is very fall themed. You know? All right, so of course you also saw in the looks and the pictures that I always kind of try to also combine it with some glitter, because it just makes it shine a little bit more. Also because of course the shadows that I used from the palette are all very boom, you know. Of course, if you're using these kinds of eyeliners with a softer look so they can stand out more, that is probably a smarter decision, but I just didn't want to wait. I didn't want to wait using those eyeliners, because I'm just so thrilled about gel eyeliners, and I'm so glad that I can now add these new colors to my collection. I do have a red one already from Inglot, and I also do have like a royal blue one, and you know, different kinds, but mostly I'm using black because that's just the classic thing. But I'm super much in colorful liners, as you might have noticed. So that is, yeah, the performance was amazing. They're very smooth and beautiful to use, very opaque, very easy to apply, and that is really nice. Now, of course, overall, applying gel eyeliners needs a little bit more experience, a little bit more practice than maybe when you're using a felt tip liner, but you know, it's worth it. For me, it's absolutely worth it. I love working with gel liners, and these so far have been absolutely beautiful. All right, so that now let me just quickly close them so they don't dry out. And then we are going to talk about the other products from the Sleepover collection. All right, maybe let's start with the lippy, which is, sorry. Okay, so let's start with the lippy. This is, of course, a lip gloss, and it is very sparkly and cute. And also, in all of the looks that you saw, I wore this lippy. I told you already in the intro, of course, but I just want to point it out again because in every look, I used a different lip liner. So the overall picture is a little bit different, you know, because of course, then the whole effect, the overall effect is always then a bit different. I have to say though, with a bit of a brown liner, you get such a classy look. It is so beautiful. Now, do I always have some problem with bleeding when it comes to lip glosses? Absolutely. Also here, also today, because I start to get a little bit wrinkly. Yes, I do. Down here, especially like tiny ones, you know, it is not like super obvious yet, but overall, I have to say what I really like about glosses is that it turns the lips into like a voluptuous goodness, and I love that. You know, it is very beautiful, and you just have to, like, if you're like me and you're starting to, you know, have fine lines, then you'll just have to look out for that. What can I do? You know, so that is what it is. I probably would prefer to have a bullet lipstick or something like this, but this is still very cute. Also, the color is just so beautiful, and again, if you're combining it with different lip liners, then you get a different effect each time. Also, there is no smell. There is a tiny little bit of a taste to it, but not obnoxious or anything. It doesn't bother me at all. So that is the lippy. All right, then let's also talk about the face products. So we do have these two blushes. Let me just find out which ones are the blushes. All right, so we do have this blush here, which is the shade. Let me just check. This is Carob. I don't know if one says it cherub, maybe cherub. All right, so this is the blush. It is more pink. This is the one that I'm wearing today, but I'm also going to tell you what else I did. And this one is a little bit more like a lavender color, and this one is the shade Charmed. Now, in today's look, because I feel overall both of these blushes are too light for me, because I just like to blush darker, because I'm extreme, as you know. So I deepened up the blush, because I used the more pinkish blush. I deepened it up with this one, just a tiny little hint of this one, you know? So of course you can always do that. You can also easily use this shade or this shade as a highlighter, or this shade as a blush, or any of the shades as a blush, you know? So just because it says blush on this or highlighter on this, it doesn't mean that this is the only way you can use it, right? So in any case, just saying, I personally prefer darker blushes, not like super dark. Of course, it kind of has to still fit to my complexion, but I tend to like darker blushes a little bit more. So I just helped myself by pulling in an eyeshadow from the palette, you know? So that's what it is. But I would say that still like 80% of the blush that you're seeing here is the actual blush. All right, then of course the highlighter, you also see this is how it looks, and I think overall this is a very cute collection. Super nice. All right, now let's also talk about the palette. The palette comes in a sleeve, and of course you do have the ingredients both on the palette and on the sleeve. You do have cardboard packaging. You do of course this beautiful picture, and again, I'm just like, when I opened this package and my husband saw this and he was like, huh, you want to show this on your channel? And I'm like, absolutely I will. Why? I was like, you know what? Don't I look like this pillow? And he's like, no, but yeah, I do. So in any case, so this is of course the palette, and you do have cardboard packaging, you do have a mirror, and you do have shade names. Also here you can of course see that you can actually remove the shades and rearrange them, but just be aware of the fact that then the shade names don't match up anymore. All right, so you do have mattes and shimmers in the palette. These are the mattes, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one is a matte with finely milled micro glitter in it. I have to say, during swatching, the micro glitter was obvious. It looked very, very beautiful, but on the eyes, I never really noticed it much. You know, I think I used this shade in each look, I want to say, or almost each look, and I never really noticed it. But it could also be because I'm going in with the darkest shade first, like always, and it kind of gets then maybe blended away by the other shades that are going on top. So it could just be my makeup style and the way I'm applying my makeup that it doesn't show up so much. Maybe if you're applying it last, or if you're applying it with your hand or with your fingers, maybe then it's different. Now staining, I already told you in the beginning of the makeup application part that there is a bit of staining. For me, it is never an issue. I personally absolutely don't care. It is what it is, and like I keep living, you know. But it was not super horrible, and considering how like these are blockbuster shades, you know, and considering that, I think that the staining was super minimal. Also, I didn't experience any greasing, but that is never really an issue with Alien Cosmetics or Unearthly Cosmetics for me. The only palette that creased on me from Unearthly Cosmetics was the Bunnies palette. That was, though, a different formula, because I think those shimmers in the palette were like extra creamy or something like this, and that didn't work so well on me. But with the normal formula that they usually have, I absolutely have no problem with creasing or separating or anything. So that was really nice. I also think that the blendability was really nice, and of course it's some work, especially when you go in with the darkest shade first. You just need to consider that, because it's part of the deal, you know. If you're working with shades like this, you kind of have to give it extra time for blending, or you go in of course with one of the lighter shades and then build it up. But for me personally, it just gives me more drama when I go in with the darkest shade, and I always feel like the color payoff and the overall result is just more like boom, like someone slaps you in the face. I really like that. Yeah, so that is what it is. I hope I said everything that I wanted to say. So overall, I'm just so thrilled that I got these products. I am like beyond blessed that that I got to try all of this. And you know, maybe I could also show you now in combination with this look and also the other 3 looks that you saw, of course, in the pictures, that you can go in so many directions with a palette like this. Now, a lot of people will probably think that it is very restrictive to have a 9-pan palette, which is then within one color scheme, and you can do so much. But because this palette has such a beautiful range also from light to dark, and the whole vibe of the palette, and also just placement, sweeties, play with the placement. You know, if you're not just doing the same thing over and over again with like just different colors, of course then it's going to be boring. But if you're also playing with the placement, then I think you can get a lot out of the palette like this. And I have to say that I didn't feel bored at all. Now, I worked the last 4 days, I worked with this palette, and I didn't feel bored. And I'm a person that doesn't hold the attention very long. You know, I kind of need to get stimulated all the time because I'm a baby, you know, and this is how it is. But I did not get bored with this palette, and that is a really good sign. Yeah. And overall, the performance was super nice. And as soon as I can also like pull in glitter and just play, then I'm happy. Sweeties, okay, please don't unsubscribe. All right, so that is what it is, sweeties. Of course, check out my description box for everything that I have on my face, for all my discount codes, for my links to social media, and ways to support my channel in case you wish to do so. I also do have a code with Unearthly Cosmetics. Of course, if you want to use it, thank you so much. It really helps supporting me. And of course, it also shows Unearthly Cosmetics that you guys love me, you know, so that helps, you know. All right, sweeties, don't forget to leave me your comments, of course, in the comment section down below. If you're new here and you've made it till here, don't forget to subscribe before you leave, because I would absolutely love to have you here in my very loving, growing tribe. It's a blessing to have you guys. And beyond that, I'm going to see you here super soon for my next video. And up until then, definitely go ahead and sparkle. Hugs and kisses.